Hi everyone, my name is Yurim E, and I'm a program manager at Azure Active Directory at Microsoft. Today I'd like to talk to you about a user-based security strategy. In the world we live today, in the complex world with multiple applications, multiple devices, most IT have a hard time building security framework and strategies. And before we can even talk about technology, it's really important to vet and think of your user base in your organization and what policies and level of security you need before you even think about a POC or looking at technology. We find most organizations do not do this first step, and it's critical in setting up the right policies. So let's talk about your users first. Most organizations have three types of workers: knowledge workers, boardrooms, and first-line workers. There are certain industries and certain organizations that have these other groups, and you can build customized control and thought process, but the way we want you to do controls will be the same. So we're going to focus on the first three. Whereas again, the network and the office was the perimeter in the old world, in the cloud-first world, your control has to be around the user. Everything that the user touch, all the devices that they use, some company provided, some BYOD, some using a shared terminal or systems in some parts of the world, as well as the application. And it's very critical. Applications today in most organizations have many different versions, from custom apps that was homegrown and created. There's a lot of SaaS and cloud apps that are controlled, that are not, as well as data, access to that data. And at the end of the day, why are organizations putting in these security measures? Why are hackers and bad actors trying to get into your environment, phish your users? They're trying to access that 15 to 20% of data that are the crown jewels, highly sensitive in an organization. They're trying to capture that. That black dot you see there is what you're trying to protect with all the mechanism of your user, the vehicles and throughput that they're getting that data from, which is device and application. So that's what we need you to control, and that's why you have to identify and build a strategy plan and a security plan for your users first. Microsoft has already identified 3 layers of security and protection around users. They're baseline, sensitive, and highly regulated. At Microsoft, we want you to start with baseline, which is for the majority. The higher you go up, there'll be a smaller base of people who access certain applications that access those crown jewels of data, and that's where you want to go to that highly regulated. Your controls start with Azure Active Directory. It starts with identity. What could that look like? So again, the first 3 columns represents typical organization. Most organizations have executive, CXO level, and their administrators who have delegate rights. You want to make sure the applications and data that boardroom accesses are very secure. Whether you make sure they MFA or you don't know where they're coming from or you don't have a trusted device, you want to make sure you have policies set up that controls and validates who they are, what device they come from. Again, adding that multiple layer before they access those important data that they're proven they are who they are. Most employees or workers in an organization fall into that knowledge worker, and there's very vast, diverse group of workers in that organization. Most of the time, HR, legal groups that touch those highly sensitive data or applications should be at that middle layer, sensitive. But most of the organization's worker base should just have that baseline. And again, first-line worker in the last few years are getting technology. They're being managed more with technology, where in previous years they were not. Think of your retail workers who touch point of sale systems that touch customers' credit card, to doctors doctors and nurses are also first-line workers because they work directly with their patients. So you have to identify that. And again, if you have a group of workers that don't fit into the first 3, you want to look through all the controls that you want to control and set up policies for. And this is the most important slide. And before you start any technology projects, upgrades, think through this and the level of control you want, and then identify those before you even do a proof of concept. That's how important it is. And Microsoft Azure Active Directory is the starting line. It is the technology that will anchor and bring controls around those four mechanisms: your people, your app, your device, and control that data, whatever the environment. To get started, please check out our website. Thank you so much.